And we're back. It's the C-Space studio at CES 2023. I am James Kotecki, joined by Dave Helmreich, Chief Commercial Officer, Innovid. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here. Appreciate it.
So for people who don't know, catch us up. How do you introduce Innovid to someone that you're meeting here at CES for the first time?
It's a great question. So as with all technology companies, it's a complicated business, but our core focus is pretty simple. We help some of the largest brands in the world unify their investments in converged TV and connected TV globally. We help them personalize that through dynamic creative, both in video and in other formats, and then ultimately measure that.
Yeah.
So it's a full stack offering, delivering globally, personalizing, and then measuring.
Are converged TV and connected TV two different concepts, or are they synonymous?
I think you'll hear a lot of people use a bunch of different terms.
Yeah.
I mean, when we think about just convergence is the intersection of digital, linear, connected, streaming, over the top. Everyone uses a lot of interchangeable terms.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not. You could probably do a better job in the industry of defining those.
Every year it grows. Every year it evolves.
Correct.
What are you looking forward to in 2023? Where are you focusing for 2023?
Yeah. A big focus for us is two things. One, continue to grow the business globally. So focused on our large brands, helping them sort of evolve their business and thinking about outcomes more globally. We're also working with a lot of the sell-side platforms. As consumers, you and I have seen more and more options to watch more and more things every day. Whether it's live sports or our favorite shows coming on and off of the various and sundry streaming platforms. We're helping brands unite their investments across all of those, number one. Also, helping those platforms do a better job in serving to those large global brands. And I say large global, but it also could be local. It could be sort of helping any marketer understand the value of their investment.
You mentioned helping brands focus on outcomes. Has that historically been, or is it currently still a challenge for a lot of brands, and what are they doing instead?
I think if you ask any CMO, they will say unequivocally that measuring performance is important. Has it always been as important as it is now? Probably not. Whether it's the current macroeconomic environment or the cost of capital or fundraising or just tightened budgets and personnel, every marketer should be focused on outcomes and performance, right? Every day or every week, where do you spend? Whether it's $50K or $500K or $5 million, do I put it in platform A or I put it in platform B? And how much and how often? And if you can't answer that as a team, I think you should think differently about how you're measuring your performance.
I don't know how many brands come to you and it's kind of a clean slate, they're not doing anything in your space and they want you to take them from 0 to 100. But if someone were to do that, how do you frame for them the kind of massive numbers of choices? We talked about all the different streaming platforms and options that are out there. How do you begin to let them dip their toe in the water in a structured way?
I don't know if there are any companies like that exist, whether it's a local advertiser or a global advertiser. But if someone is new to, for example, advertising on a streaming platform, or what we've seen lately is new streaming platforms have ad-supported offerings.
Newly ad-supported, yeah.
Netflix, Disney, Hulu Plus, and others. So what we advise is make sure you understand your audience, make sure you understand sort of where that's being delivered, and reach and frequency is important, but also where are you actually getting incremental reach, where are you getting additional value, and then ultimately use the technology that exists in the market to deliver a better experience. You and I live in different towns, we have different backgrounds, we're at different stages of life. We should see a different experience that's suited to what we want to see from that brand. The tech exists to do it today, so if you're not using it, you're starting behind.
What is the snapshot of the latest technology here? Are there things technologically that are possible today or will be possible very soon that a lot of advertisers and brands haven't really caught up with yet that they need to know about?
I think one of the things is I just think about, as I was on Instagram earlier today just going through my feed and saw an ad for a company that I hadn't seen before. On the bottom of that ad, very conspicuously, is a Shop Now button.
Yep.
I don't know why that experience hasn't made its way into TV. And so I think that's capability that exists today. I think we saw in the last Super Bowl, QR codes sort of have become, not mainstream yet, but have become more visible, right? It happened during COVID as well.
Sure.
I think the combination of the capability now that exists in connected TV, I think the ability to interact with that, and really the consumer's behavior and preference to just buy when you're in the moment, we're going to see more of that. And the capability exists today. It's just not it's not as seamless as it should be yet.
Are there also more opportunities to take that seamless opportunity to connecting connected TV to just all other sorts of types of advertising, right? Like ideally, as an advertiser, I want to be following around in a friendly way, the people that I'm trying to reach, right? On all these different platforms, not just on television. And I want to be really involved in their life. So are there more opportunities and a lot of room to run there?
100%. I mean, just think about our, again, I'll use our experience today, right? I moved from mobile early to was on an iPad doing some work, had a laptop open. I will watch TV at some point, end of this week. An advertiser should have the opportunity to sort of continue that story with me throughout that journey, because I've identified, I've logged in, they know my behavior, that they should be able to give me that customized experience to continue that story and continue to drive engagement. That's a journey that we all want. It's not obtrusive, it's not interrupting, and it's valuable because we actually get something and we have a value exchange with a brand.
And do you have data, or at least a sentiment yourself, on how consumers currently perceive all the advertising that's around them? I mean, every year I have these conversations, every year it gets more and more sophisticated, and I wonder, do consumers just continue to evolve with that as far as their expectations for how brands reach them? Do brands, I mean, of course some do, occasionally bump up into a line of like, well, that feels like it was too obtrusive in terms of my life?
I don't have any, again, I don't have any stats on whether consumers feel that it's obtrusive or not, but I can tell from personal experience and from friends that, advertising that is not frequency capped, that is, not managed, and if you watch a streaming, whether it's live TV or some movie, and they don't give you the option to sort of binge ads up front, and you see the same ad for the same advertiser at every point throughout the show, that's not a great experience. I wouldn't consider it obtrusive, but it's not valuable, and it's bordering on annoying.
Another thing that's really evolving in this space, and we've seen an explosion of interest in just Chat GPT recently, as far as AI's ability to create images, to create content, to create. I had it create a phony baloney script of Seinfeld that was kind of funny, just as a joke. But obviously, AI is maybe not capable of doing this entirely, but it's certainly able to enable people more and more. So how are you thinking about the ways that AI is going to empower the creative side of this business?
Well, that capability already exists today, and we leverage a lot of that currently just in doing really simple, like personalization in dynamic video. And if you're a national brand and you want to run thousands of spots in video, you actually have the capability today to take in the data input, take in the location, take in the desired audience parameters, even things like simple things like day part and what else that person has engaged with, and just use that to create thousands of creatives. And that's not even AI, that's just simple computers doing fairly quick math and creating a bunch of iterations. It also reduces the load on agencies. It makes it a lot easier to measure performance, and then you're not just A/B testing, you're testing hundreds of variants and understanding sort of which one drives lifts. It's the same capability that's existed in display and mobile for years. It's just now at scale in video.
And is all of this pointing toward a future, or maybe even an edgy present, in which there's this kind of grand unified theory? Because we talk about creative and data, right? And sometimes historically you think about really two different kinds of people. There's this, there's the idea of the left brain and the right brain working together, working in opposition. Is all this pointing toward a grand unified theory where you can kind of bring creativity under the realm of something that is more programmatic and data driven?
Well, I think creativity drives that human, visceral, positive engagement interaction, right? That's why we have creative awards. That's why some of these spots and some of these campaigns are absolutely amazing. But I think we can also apply science and data to that to make that more relevant, to make it reach the right people. And I know we're going back and talking about personalization, but that just gives us the ability to serve them to the right people, make sure that they're personalized appropriately, and then measure the outcomes. But that's a great combination of sort of, creativity and math and science. And that's the world we live in today. We saw it starting in programmatic 13, 14 years ago. And now we're leveraging a lot of that capability today in video and hopefully doing a better job of delighting customers.
Well, thank you for delighting us with your presence here in the C-Space studio. Dave Helmreich, Innovid, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, appreciate it.
And thank you so much for watching. This is the C-Space studio from CES 2023. Keep it right here because more great conversations are on the way.